If your little pants come down, would you rub against me all night long? Anyways, speaking of unwanted affection, so I've been having this issue for a long time. This is like a political, religious debate issue here. And I want to be. I don't know what I want to be. Do I want to be hostile? Do I want to say the F word? Do I want to get angry? Do I want to be pleasant? I don't know what I want to be in this one. Because I am a little bit pissed. I'm a little bit angry. And I've done numerous clips about this specific topic. But I want to try to come at it from a different point of view. Because I'm getting really annoyed with my fellow Christians because there's such a double speak going on right now. There's such a double standard, a double message. And it is disturbing to me. Now, I don't... See, the problem is, especially when it comes to politics, there's two sides. There's conservatism, and then there's liberalism. And there's different degrees of that. There's like ultra right, ultra left, ultra this, ultra that. And the problem with breaking it down like that is you have to be in one camp or the other. Well, if you believe in God, you've got to be a conservative. The problem with that is that no matter how wrong the conservatives do get, you have to defend it. Because you don't want to be considered a libtard or a liberal or a demonic liberal or whatever other little terms people want to use. So if you buck the trend or you buck the system and say, hey, guess what? I don't agree with that. You're automatically a son of a bitch. And I don't like the way that is because it sets up problematic bullshit. Okay. Now, if you look at the end times concepts of what Christ talked about, when he was talking to the churches, he was talking about the lukewarm church. The church in the latter days will be lukewarm. It was a direct picture of what is going to take place. Yes, it was happening then, but it's still happening now. That same mindset, that same spirit has permeated throughout the decades and millennia up to this point. Maybe not millennia, I'm being sarcastic, but you know what I mean. Throughout the 2,000 years. Necessarily. But you know what I mean. That mindset has just moved from generation to generation of lukewarm idiocy. And again, you got Jesus, he was just there like 10 minutes ago, and all of a sudden now the churches are lukewarm. What's 2,000 years going to bring? We have got churches today, the collective church, the body of Christ, the collective church, and we are so focused on building up this dead, dying world. We're so focused on earthly things. Now, I'm sorry, you look at anything. You look at the first, I'd say first 5 to 8 chapters of any of the 4 Gospels. What was Jesus talking about? He was never talking about the here and now. He was constantly looking forward to the kingdom come. He was always looking ahead at that. As in, everything we know here on earth now, collectively, we have to think differently. Stop worrying about yourself. Worry about other people. Well, that sounds very liberal. Okay. Even if it is, what's the problem? What's the problem? Even if it is the most liberal thing you've heard, what's the problem? I'm not going to condone or condemn, either or, The liberals. I don't care about that. Let's just say we went into a collective socialistic movement across this entire globe. I have to ask you, what the hell difference does it make? Collectively. Oh, we're gonna fall. We're already a fallen world. So what the hell difference does it make? You think socialism, giving people a bunch of stuff to survive, is wicked, but yet you want smaller government and no regulations on big corporations who are willing to dump toxic garbage into your water. That's good, because that's capitalism. But yet, that people do it on a base level that actually helps people, survive, not just so that people can make more money. It helps people actually live their day and actually have quality of life issues addressed for people who are okay. That's wrong and evil. But dumping toxic shit in their water because they don't want to have to pay to clean it up, that's cool. That's great. That's wonderful. That's of God. I don't understand that. So even if we are talking about the most liberal aspects of the universe, like Chuck Schumer 2.0, who the fuck cares? Who gives a shit? This is not the... Dude, and what pisses me off is now we're seeing this influx of, like, Christian music singers, and they're singing all this political bullshit. Yet, let's look at some of the old songs. Petra had a song called "Shelter the Homeless Few" about homeless fucking people. Now, the song would be, "Get a job, you lazy bum." Okay, not as catchy a tune, but no. It's our priority and our focus is on the wrong thing. Okay, we gotta make America great. For what? Who are we making America great for? Are we making it great for Jesus? No. We are the freaking beast. Because guess what? You know what the Bible says about the beast? Who can wage war against the beast? Well, okay, who can wage war against America? Who can wage war against America? So we're going to make America great so that it can go and conquer and become the end time ass rape of the universe, basically. Okay, make America great. I'll buy another red hat, you freaking morons. And I'm going to let you in a little secret. The rapture's not happened 7 years before. Okay, it's not. The whole point is for us to persevere. Like there's that story in Mark when Jesus told the disciples to get in their little boat and to head west. And he went up on the mountain, and while he was up on the mountain, he could see them, and he could see that the wind was coming at them. Okay, they were going into the wind, and they were rowing, and they weren't getting anywhere. And by the fourth, whatever you call it, the nights were divided up into like 3 hours. Essentially, the Jews had it blocked off in 3 different sections. Well, the Romans had it blocked off into 4. So basically, from 6 p.m. to 9 was your first watch. Then from 9 to 12, your second. 12 to 3 was your third. And then from 3 to 6 a.m. was your fourth watch. It says during the fourth watch, like the 11th hour, the last time of the night, that's when Christ walked on the water. And when they saw him, they didn't know what they were seeing. They're like, what the hell is this? What am I seeing here? And they got frightened. And then Jesus stepped on their little boat and the wind stopped, and they were magically on the other side of the water. Okay, now I'm sorry. That is a direct picture of what we're going to go through. Because right now, this current church does not deserve a rapture. None of us do. But this church currently, right now, this lukewarm bullshit church does not deserve to be taken out 7 years. How dare anybody say that? Well, the Bible says this, the Bible says... No, no. Some jerk off a couple centuries ago said that. Okay, dispensationalist bullshit said that. Because it's wishful thinking. Because, oh, we're not going to live through that. Says who? Name me one time in the Bible God didn't have people live through the situation up until the 11th hour. Name me one. Name me one. Hell, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were thrown into the fire. They weren't taken out like 4 minutes, before, 7 minutes before, 7 years before. They weren't like, oh, we're going to throw you in a fire. Oh, no, let's not do that. I think there was one time when dude took a kid up on the hill and was going to knife him. And just as he was about to plunge the knife into the kid, God said, no, you're good. You're good. I don't want you doing it. I think that's like the only one time. But he had to go up on the mountain and raise the knife over the child and be ready to thrust it into the kid. There was no taking him out a week before, a month before, year before, 7 years before. He had to endure everything up to the last possible second. So to sit there and say, oh, we're going to be taking out 7 years. Dude, because what is going to happen? What is going to happen is you're going to have these born-again Christians who are following the wrong thing because of the lukewarm nature of this church, whose sole purpose is to worry about make America great, worry about the economy, worry about my bank account, worry about this, worry about that. Oh, as long as I have my house and this and that and everything's good and blah, blah, blah. They're worrying about that shit. What's the Bible say? Giving in marriage, eating and drinking and giving in marriage and all that bullshit. They're going to be living their lives. They're going to be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And next thing you know, some orange-haired fuck-ass is going to take his little rightful place in a throne somewhere and be like, I am God. And the minute that shit happens, guess what? That means the Great Tribulation has already started. Because, listen, let's be honest. If you could see the tribulation happening, we could all survive for the most part. I mean, there would be some tragedies here and there, but for the most part, the average person could survive the tribulation. And we would have 3.5 years to stockpile things like toilet paper and food and build a fallout shelter and all that. So we'd have all that. We would. Okay, the temple is being built. Okay, that's a sure sign. You can say, oh, the temple is being built, so oh shit. Let's stockpile some toilet paper. Okay, you could do that. But imagine if all of a sudden somebody went in there, because here's the thing, I don't know, do they actually have to build the temple? Now we know there will be a temple, but does it have to be the exact temple? Because I'm not saying the embassy and the temple are one and the same, but when you got somebody building anything there, that's some questionable shit either way. Because the reason I say that, and the reason I think it's associated with the temple, is because whoever the Antichrist will be, he will basically put an end to the sacrifices that the Israelites make, whatever that all entails. Now, does that actually mean there has to be a physical temple built on, see, that's the thing. I don't know. Could the embassy be the representation of the temple? Now, it won't be like the physical representation, like the blueprint, but could it be the seat of power there? As in a bastardized version of the temple. Maybe not in the same spot, maybe not in the same area. I don't know. See, that's interesting. Now, imagine if they take the temple, and then the Antichrist goes in and says, I see, that's the thing. I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, we always assumed it has to be a temple. And the Bible suggests, because there's a whole temple, like we're the temple. And again, I'm just working through this myself, so I don't know. I mean, does it have to be an actual temple, or can it just be something that equals like a seat of power, or something that equals the authority of the area. See, I don't know about that. I mean, I guess you could have either or. I guess it doesn't technically matter. As long as the sacrifices stop and somebody goes in and says, now, because we would see it as, okay, there's an actual temple being built, and somebody went into the Holy of Holies and was like, okay. That is a clear sign. But now if you've got a embassy that's acting on behalf of a temple, and the same thing happens, see, I don't know about that. I don't know. I mean, I assume it would have to be an actual temple, but what if it's not? I mean, because let's be honest. You can read the Bible any way you want. You can. Just because we assume it's supposed to be something, that doesn't mean it's going to be that way. Okay? It's not. It just... Yeah, there will be signs in the heavens, but Jesus never said what those signs would be. So we can interpret, well, there's, the sun. Oh, well, there's been a sign, since day one. I mean, again, it can be anything. Like back in 95, Jupiter got hit with all those meteorites. Was that a sign of the end times? See, because what my fear is that Christians are going to be sitting around and they're going to be like, oh, well, it's just the birth pangs. The end is near, but, we're still, all these things have to come to pass and blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden they're going to see some dude taking the throne, claiming he's God, ending the sacrifices, all of that type of stuff. And they're going to be like, oh my God. They literally slept through the entire tribulation and didn't even realize it. Can you imagine what that means? Can you imagine, though, seriously, what that really entails? That the people who were waiting for something to happen didn't realize it was happening. Because they were too caught up in Make America Great. They're too caught up in, the stock market, the economy, this, that, the other. Worldly things. Earthly things. There will be a new heaven and a new earth. That means everything on this earth is for naught. So you can sit there and make America great all you want, but this country and this ideal will die. So either way, it doesn't really make a difference. You're basically throwing good money at bad, essentially. So you can make America as great as you want. But again, who are you making it great for? You're not making it great for Jesus. You're not. Who are you making it great for? You're making it great for the Antichrist to use to go into all the world to conquer. Go into the world conquering and to conquer. Okay. I mean, seriously. And then what happens when we go in and we take out Syria, and we take out Iran, and we take out North Korea, and we take out this one, and we take out that one, and World War III happens? I mean, seriously, all these Christians, did you read Tim LaHaye's Left Behind books, the World War III? You're telling me that you can't put a Trump into that concept of World War III? He may not necessarily be the Antichrist per se, but he's going to give us World War III. If he continues down the road he's going, we are going to get World War III. And we have to have that before all this bullshit. All this tribulation bullshit. We have to have that. See, because a lot of people are like, oh, everything's all set up for, the next thing is the rapture. The next thing is the rapture. No, that's not. The next thing is not the rapture. Read your Bible. The next thing is not the rapture. Okay, it's not. It simply is not. Okay, there's going to be a world war. There's literally going to be a World War III. And it's probably going to be nuclear. Especially when you read certain verses where it literally talks about faces being melted and just... Okay. That's next. That's the thing that's next. Because, again, we have this idea that, we're just going to be spirited away. Dun, 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 dun. No, bullshit, you're not. I hope we are. But I got a bad feeling about it. That's all I'm going to say on that. Because no man knows the time nor the hour. Well, guess what? Because, no, seriously, what's going to happen is you're going to have these Christians who are living through the tribulation and not realize it, thinking it's just the birth pangs. And then next thing you know, oh, we can't buy or sell anymore. Oh my God, this is the great tribulation. Where is God? Where is He? Why has He forsaken us? That's going to be a thing. That's going to be a literal thing. Why has God done this? We were promised this. Why has He not come back? Is He dead? Is He, is He forsaken us? Blah, blah, blah. That is going to be a real thing for a lot of born-again Christians. And they're going to have to ponder that. And they're going to have to wonder, where is their God? So, I'm telling you right now, because that shit is going to come literally like a thief in the night. They're going to wake up one day and be like, oh my God, the Antichrist is here, and I've been following him the whole time. And I've been praying for him, and I prayed that he would do things. I prayed that he would make America great. And I prayed that he would do these things. And I prayed to God with all my heart and soul that he would do this stuff. And what's he doing with all this stuff that I prayed for? He's going and taking this military that, I swear to Christ, is spending $700 trillion? First off, if we even took the military as it is right now, or was, let's say a year ago, I'd say under Obama, we were still spending trillions of dollars more than the top 5 countries combined. Which means we could blow up the world literally 100 times over, 1,000 times over, who knows? Realistically. Completely destroy the world 100 times over, 1,000 times over, whatever. Probably even more than that. And now we're going to add another $700 billion to the freaking war budget? Who does he plan to go to war with? Sir, $700 billion. What do you do with $700 billion? Are there space aliens coming that we don't know about? And we got to build war machines? Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Because they're going to turn their $700 trillion weapons to the sky at some point when Jesus comes back, and they're going to turn the weapons on him. Are you kidding me? $700 trillion freaking dollars. You know how many wars you could wage with that? To go out conquering and to conquer with $700 billion, and that's not even including the trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions. There's no $700 trillion. It was $700 trillion. I'm saying 700, but was it billion or trillion? Whatever. It's a bunch of freaking numbers. Who cares? It's so arbitrary. It's not even funny. Billions or trillions, whatever it is. It's 700, whatever. And that's on top of what we already have. So either way, it's a lot of money, dude. And yet Christians are praying for it. Christians want it. They want their big government. They want ISIS to be destroyed. Then look, I'm not a supporter of ISIS. I'm not sitting there saying, well, you know. But you know what ISIS is doing? It's keeping things at bay. It's keeping things stationary. It's keeping things good, like peace in the Middle East. No, all these people pray for peace in the Middle East. No, I don't pray for peace in the Middle East because I'm a self-centered son of a bitch. Because guess what? The minute you have a peace, that means we're all going to get fucked. Okay, and I'm sorry, I'm not ready to get fucked yet. I'm not ready to die yet. I'm sorry. I'm probably going to die sooner than later. So I admit, as the older I get, the more I'm into, okay, let's do what we can to bring Jesus back. Okay? Because, we could propagate a bunch of shit and force Jesus to come back. We could. You start World War III, okay, you build a temple, okay, you're gonna force God to come back. You are. It's that simple. Because he has to come back. He has to. See, that's the problem. No man knows the time nor the hour, but here's a fact. We could easily fast track that. We could force God to come back. I mean, seriously, we could. Now, whether he will or not, that's a whole other story. But to sit there and pretend that, oh, it's all up in God's hands. Well, yeah, okay, maybe in the collective overall. But again, if we pushed things into play, he would have to come back. I mean, imagine if Donald Trump is the Antichrist, and he builds an embassy or a temple, or an embassy and a temple. Okay, like that freaking railroad that they're building, or Amtrak, or what the hell it is. It's basically going to go from the embassy to, the Temple Mount. Basically, it's going to be a direct path there. So, I don't know. And they're going to build that up within a few years. And I don't think I really don't think the temple's going to take that long to build. I really don't. I mean, realistically, you could have the embassy built within a year, if that. And if they fast-tracked, you literally could have that temple built in about 6 months if they fast-tracked it. And I'm talking night and day. They could easily fast-track that, because they want that sumbitch up and running sooner than later. So by this time next year, we could have both. We literally could have both. With an actual peace deal. I mean, we could. A peace deal right now seems impossible because we're building the embassy there, and all the Palestinians and all the Muslims are up in arms. But you know what? They're eventually going to get over it. They're going to boo-hoo about it for now, and then when this quote-unquote this peace accord happens, it's going to seem like a miraculous thing. It's like, oh, it's a miracle. So give me a break with that. And I'm going to I guarantee you that at the 3.5 mark, it's going to be the Israelis who break the deal somehow. I can almost guarantee that. That they're going to go in and do something. Or, maybe, I don't know, maybe Palestinians shoot some rockets over and they come in with tanks and stuff and they break the peace deal. It's going to be something like that. And Israel's going to get the blame. I guarantee you, Israel will get the blame. Because there's going to be this 3.5 years of, rah, rah, rah for Israel. And then all of a sudden, Israel's going to be on the other end of it. And I don't know. But because the world's going to have to turn on Israel. And yes, that includes America. That includes us. Okay. Well, we love Israel. Yeah, but we're going to turn on them. Okay, we are. We're going to turn on them. Which means they did something. They're going to have done something. I don't know what. Who knows? But we're going to turn on them. I don't know. Maybe they try to assassinate the president or something. Who knows? Or somebody there. Who knows? You don't know. It's going to be something big, though. Or maybe they bomb the that Muslim temple that's there so they could build their temple. I don't know, but I don't know if that would be enough for the entire world to go to war. It has to be something big. The entire world would have to go against Israel. Why would the entire world go against Israel? Now, if the entire world was run by, let's say, a U.S. president who has a $700 billion, trillion dollar, whatever the fuck it is, war budget, and they somehow went after him somehow, or did something to him, or something happened under their watch, and they got the blame. I don't know. There's numerous ways this could play out. But something's going to have to happen. Something will have to happen. And, because no matter what happens, it has to be a political thing. It can't just be, well, I'm the new Lord of this universe. I come and I sit on the throne and blah, 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 and now I'm going to destroy Israel. You can't just do that. It all has to be political. It has to be. Because people are easily manipulated, and you have to manipulate people into believing, okay, Israel's a son of a bitch now, we gotta kill him. We gotta destroy him. Which, you know, whatever. But, like I said, something has to give. Because right now, we're all buddy with Israel, and we're gonna set up the embassy there, and blah blah blah. It's gonna be great. Well, that's gonna have to change. That's going to have to change. That's simple. So, but anyways, like I was saying, I just have this bad feeling that Christians are going to wake up one day and be like, oh my God, everything that I believed in is for naught. I was believing in the... Because we are talking about a lukewarm church right now. And Christ will spew the lukewarm from his mouth. He will spit it the fuck out. And this church is not something that he wants to be a part of. In fact, he even says, I would rather have somebody who's hot or cold, but those who are lukewarm, no. Fuck you. So guess what? Yeah, he would rather have Hillary in office than Donald Trump. Okay. Now you think Hillary's lukewarm? No. No. Is she warm? Is she warm? No. She's cold. He'd rather have somebody who's cold than somebody who's lukewarm. Somebody who's riding the fence in just, political wins and bullshit. I mean, it really is scary how you just watch people get manipulated. Like, I'm sitting here watching Christians get manipulated. And for what? So that Kenneth Copeland can have another jet? And he can squeal and be excited about how his parishioners gave him, a $32 million jet or whatever the hell it is? Are you freaking kidding me? And the reason he says he needs a jet is because when he's trying to, what was the word? When he was trying to do, like he'd go on these flights and he would try to meditate and think about God, and all of a sudden these demons would just come up to him and talk to him and ask for prayer, and it's like, are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me, you piece of garbage? He referred to other airline passengers who were Christians who came up to him asking for prayer as demons, because they dared get in his personal time with God. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? You're a quasi-celebrity. You don't have personal time with God in a crowded airport. Fuck you. I mean, would Jesus have done that? Would Jesus have even said that? No. So you're a piece of shit. And I hope your fucking plane crashes, you piece of trash. I hope your fucking plane falls out of the fucking sky, you piece of shit. Whether you're on it or not, I don't give a damn. I hope you don't die. But I hope your plane falls out of the sky, you fucker. Whatever. So anyways, I mean, seriously, that's what it comes down to. All these fuckers are, we're praying for Trump. Dude, does anybody with active brain cells really think Trump's ego will allow him to admit that he's wrong? Admit that he needs a savior? Admit that he needs someone other than himself to save him? What did he say? Well, I don't bring that into the conversation. I will admit if I'm wrong, but I don't really see it that way. Whatever it was he said. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. And then, oh, he's saved. He believes in Jesus. Satan believes in Jesus. So what? So what? Satan believes in Jesus. That don't mean nothing. That means dick one. That means nothing. You idiot. You spiritual noob. And they're propagating this freaking lie. Now, I don't want to pretend, well, you don't know Donald Trump's heart. You don't know President Trump's heart. Yeah, I don't know his heart, but I can see his actions. Yeah, and you know what? I'm not one to talk about action because I say fuck a lot. Okay? But at least, hopefully, under all of that, there is some sort of legitimate spiritual message that I am hopefully propagating to the world that's good. There's good fruit there somewhere. Now, granted, you may have to, peel back the onion a few layers to find it, but you know what? It is what it is. So, and I've said this from day one. If Donald Trump comes out and actually has a legitimate Christian testimony where he, admits he needs Jesus and he repents of his sins and he said some things and did some things in his youth, is, early as 60, 70 even, okay, a couple months ago, and he screws up. You know what? I would totally forgive him and be like, okay, we can move forward. The fact is, he does not and will not ever do that. So if he's still living in his sin, then I can't support that. I mean, I live in my own sin. I have enough sin to deal with myself without having to propagate his bullshit too, and give that out to the rest of the world, and try to make excuses for that. I mean, I'm sorry. But the fact is, we have born-again Christians right now who make excuses for sexual assault, Nazis, and child pedophilia. And again, I've said this, I'll keep continuously saying it. If Christians came out and said, hey, you know what, Roy Moore is accused of it, but he's not been convicted of it, so we're going to stand with him, I'm completely for that, because that's right, that's the way to do it, because, like I said, he hasn't been convicted of anything until he's been convicted, Fine, I could deal with that mindset, but that's not the mindset that they're giving. We've actually had Christians say, well, if he did it, it's okay because Mary was 14 when she married Joseph and had Jesus, and the Holy Spirit impregnated her at 14. So it's okay. They didn't even go and say, well, if he did do it, they're saying if he did do it, it's okay. I don't know, man. That pisses me off. That kind of bullshit just pisses me off. And you got all these freaking Christians just hook, line, and sinker buying into that bullshit. Yet I'm the bad guy. I'm the son of a bitch. I'm the libtard. I'm the demonic liberal. And again, even if we went straight on liberal, who gives a shit? Who honestly cares? We are told that this is not our world. This is not our home. Our home is in heaven. We are just passing through. We are aliens and strangers. There's numerous Christian songs about it. They were aliens and strangers of this world. Again, do you care about the deportation practices of Canada? No. You don't give a fuck about Canada. Do you care about the Canadian economy, even if you live there for a short time? Do you really care about the Canadian economy? No. Do you care about who the president is? Not really. As long as he's not a dictator, who the fuck cares? All of a sudden we gotta be patriotic. Oh. What patriotic? For what? For a dead, broken system? A dead, broken system that by your own account as a Christian is run by Satan himself. So that means this country is run essentially by Satan. Because it is a country within the world system, within the world practice, within the world environment. And your political parties are of the world. But yeah, no. Because the GOP, it's just God's party. Give me a break. And I've said this from day one, I'll continue to say it. If Jesus was here right now, there would only be one party, and it's called the Jesus Party. Fuck you. And anybody say otherwise is an idiot. And no, Jesus would not have an R next to his name. He didn't give a fuck about the Republic. He didn't give a damn about that. He didn't give a damn about the Republic. His kingdom will come. New Jerusalem will come. It will ascend like a mothership landing. Okay. So, I mean, think about that. He said he would go and prepare a place for us. Now, what does that mean? How do you prepare a place? How is he still co-creating heaven at this juncture? I don't understand it. Now, if he's building a legitimate space station, I mean, imagine like a Stargate in Atlantis. He's actually building a city that's a ship with a star drive. Can you imagine that? It has like a little dome over it. Can you imagine something like that? Just ascending from the heavens, the New Jerusalem, literally landing, and it's just this. There's like these towers and pillars and shit, and just this whole freaking glorious city, literally just coming down out of the heavens. That is pretty epic. And it literally just crushes everything underneath it. That'd be freaking epic, dude. That would be freaking epic. Okay? Because he had to go and quote-unquote prepare a place. Now think about what that means. Why do you have to prepare a place if heaven is this cloud city, fictitious, spirit world? What is there to create? How do you create stuff in spirit? Just, and there it is. It didn't take 2,000 years to do that. To actually build a legitimate city like that, that could take 2,000 years. Okay? That could take 2,000 years. I don't know, man. That would be pretty awesome, not gonna lie. Just, I mean, can you imagine that? Can you imagine the thunderous roar of the fucking engines and shit as that shit's just slowly coming down? Because you'd have to have like some sort of like reverse thruster thing or something just to kind of just bring it down. That would take a shitload of energy too. Can you imagine that? Imagine the amount of energy consumption that thing would take. Holy crap, talk about renewable energy. Holy fuck. You would have to have some serious energy for that thing. And it wouldn't be burning dinosaurs, I can tell you that right now. Fuck that shit. And solar panels wouldn't be working either. Okay, you need a lot more. You need one hell of a fucking solar panel. Okay, you need a lot of solar panels. You need like the core of the sun to move something like that. That'd be a pretty epic thing, man. New Jerusalem, boom. It's pretty wild, actually, when you think about it. It does say that it will literally come down, come down out of the heavens. Now we're thinking like this, like the heavens open up and there's like this rip in reality where we can see into another dimension. We think of it kind of like that. What if it's not? What if it's like physical? You know? I mean, it will be eventually physical at some point. Like it'll come into this reality, but imagine if it's a space station. A huge, gigantic space station. I mean, can you imagine that thing just coming into Earth orbit? Dude, that'd be fucking epic, though. Seriously. Holy fucking moly. Holy shit, dude. This thing would be huge, man, because you'd have to accompany a lot of people. We're talking billions of people, though. Seriously. I mean... Well, I don't know. I mean, how many people would there have to be? I mean, how many Christians has there been throughout history? I mean, if there's 7+ billion people right now, probably closer to pushing 8, not all of them are quote unquote saved and going to be in the kingdom. But hundreds of millions of people die every day, and they've been doing so for multiple decades. Okay, since Christ's return, and that's just from Christ to now, for the last 2,000 years. Numerous Christians have been, so, you're talking about a shitload of people. I mean, I'm assuming we're going to branch out a little bit. Like, we're not all going to be able to fit there, but... I don't know. But then think about it. What is a 1,000-year reign going to be like? Oh, I get up and go to work every day and, make somebody else rich? That's not even... I don't believe that's how that shit's going to be at all. I don't think it's going to be like that at all. I mean, if anything, you'd be essentially working for Jesus. You'd be doing it for Him. So, like, if you're a TV manufacturer, you'd be manufacturing TVs for Jesus. So there wouldn't be this, oh, I need, 80 grand as a CEO. No, fuck you. You get nothing. You get the glory of knowing that you did it for Jesus, and then I can go to the Walmart and pick it up for free. I'm picking up my TV for Jesus, okay? Seriously, imagine if we had a world where there was no money. Because you're not better than me. Trump is not better than me. on any level. Just he has more money. He has more clout. That's all it is. As far as a human being goes, he is not better than me. He's not better than you. He's not better than anybody else. But you can't tell him that. You know? Half these freaking people, they're not better than me. I mean, there might be a few who are better than me, obviously. Definitely some who look better than me. Some who are thinner than me. But as far as just, being a decent human being, they're not better than me. And there's people that I'm not better than. So if we're all in the same boat and we're not valued based upon our bank account or based upon our status, like I was born into royalty. I was born in a ditch, so fuck you. Okay? I'm no better than you. You're no better than me. Why you think you're something special is beyond me. Just because you had a silver spoon shoved up your ass doesn't mean you're anything great. You're just a piece of trash just like everybody else. Whether you're a royal family member or not. I am going to say this about the royals. Why are all the men geeks? They're fucking nerds, dude. They're legitimate nerds. You'd think with the amount of hot women these fuckers bed that inbred nerdy bullshit would breed itself out. But it's like the men just get nerdier and nerdier and dorkier. I mean, seriously, have you seen that family? I mean, they had some serious inbreeding going on there for a while. And it is taking a lot to get away from that. They have had to bed some seriously attractive women to get that incest out of the picture. Okay. No, I'm sorry to say that. But you look at some of those guys, they are nerds. They are straight up fucking geeks. They are straight fucking... I can't even... And then you see the hot women that they're betting. And then their kids are nerds, and the kids are geeks, and it's just like it's like Poindexter. It's like a whole line of Poindexters. It's like Revenge of the fucking Nerds, Revenge of the Royal Nerds. Are you kidding me? But essentially, that shit's got to breed itself out. It has to. There's far too many beautiful women who are being, whatever, but seriously, it's like the more they breed, I don't know, it's kind of sad, really. It is. It's kind of sad at how just scrawny and nerdy they are. Especially the last generation. This new generation, Harry and Tommy and Skippy and all the other ones, whatever the fuck their names are, that nerdiness is sort of breeding itself out, but it's still, you can still see it. You can still see it's there. But I mean, honestly, 12, 1300, years, they obviously did some incest back in the day, or something. I'm sorry, if you're a royal family member, you should not be that nerdy and scrawny. You just shouldn't be. 1300 AD and 1200 AD, they must have been doing some serious incest. Or doing some drugs or something. I don't know what the fuck they were doing. Because if they've been bedding hot women since day one, then it should just be beautiful people after beautiful people after beautiful people. And you don't see beautiful people. You don't see beautiful people. You see a bunch of rich people. You see a bunch of royal people based on whatever. But they're not beautiful people. The men are not beautiful. The women are beautiful, but the men are not beautiful. They're not. Sorry, it's just a fact. But whatever. I'm not disparaging them. I see them on my TV and stuff. And it's just, they're not attractive people. They're not. And it's disgusting. Because it's probably what it was. He got some royal dude, and he fell in love with this ugly bitch. She's ugly, but she can cook, kind of a deal. And he loved her. And he loved her a little too much. And he started breeding the royal family that we see today. And it's just his nerd fest. And that's probably what it was. Probably just like one time, like a drunken moment. You know, he loved the wrong woman. He loved an unclean woman, basically, is what I'm trying to say to you. But I mean, can you imagine if there was a world where we were all equal? And the only one that mattered was Jesus himself? Can you imagine that world? Like, for example, you go and you teach kids about art, and you don't get paid for it. You don't need to get paid for it. You do it because you want to do it. And you do it for Jesus. You teach them about what it means to be an artist for Jesus. Not just, oh, well, here's a Renaissance painting of a woman's tit. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's like the history of it all that stuff, but you know what I mean? Like, actually doing it for a purpose that isn't a paycheck. I mean, our entire viewpoint of life would be different. It would be. Now, there'd have to be certain standards, like, okay, you know, they're offering an art class today, I want to go to it, and, oh, well, the teacher's not there. You know, so you'd have to have some standards, but just people being able to do what they want to do on a daily basis. You know? Just people doing what they want to do, not what they have to do for a job. Now, don't get me wrong, I mean, there's certain things that have to be done. But, I mean, shit. You know, imagine if you shoveled shit for Jesus. Nobody else will do it, I'll do it for Jesus. You'd want to do that job. Especially if nobody else is willing to do it, and you're the only one who would. It wouldn't be beneath you. You know? I don't know. I mean, can you imagine that kind of a world where it's like we're not thinking about ourselves? Like, oh, I'm shoveling shit for a living, and you're, you know, sitting in a nice air-conditioned studio, you know, doing what you do. No. You're not thinking of that. You're thinking, okay, this needs to be done, and I want to do it for Jesus. I want to, like, because he's actually physically here, is what I mean. Like, the spaceship has landed, he's here, you know, and it's for him. It's for the kingdom. It's for the greater good, you know. I don't know. It's just, I wonder what a world like that would look like. Now, people would say, well, there's no incentive for this, and there's no one's. How is there not incentive? How is there no incentive? You're doing it for Jesus. You're doing it for I mean, dude, an alien dude, ascended from the heavens. You're doing it for him. You're literally doing this for him. And he knows you're doing it for him. You know? I mean, think about that. It isn't about us. It's about him and the greater good. So again, if you're a TV manufacturer, you manufacture TVs for him. You say, I did my job today. I did it for Jesus. I made 52 TVs, and I did it for Jesus. And then 52 people come and just pick up the TV. It doesn't cost anything. I don't know. I mean, is that even a viable... Now, granted, I'm talking like in a kind of a utopia sort of way. But, I mean, is that even possible? Because it's a matter of mindset. Like, well, I don't feel like getting up and go to work today because it's rainy out and I feel kind of poo-pooey. But the fact is, you don't care about the poo-poo because you're focused on how can I make Jesus happy? How can I make this man happy? Because, again, he is here physically now on earth. He is here. He's a real thing. We understand he's a real thing. It's not just, oh, well, maybe God exists. No, we know God exists. Jesus is here. Everything, again, it has landed. The city has landed. New Jerusalem is here. New heaven, new earth, all that is here. And it's tangible. It's real. You know? I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Is that something that could work? It couldn't work today. That's the problem. Because like the argument would be, people don't have incentive because they're not doing it for Jesus. They don't give a damn about that. They only care about thee, themselves, and I. They only care about the here and now. They care about making America great. They care about all this bullshit. And when you focus on that and not a bigger topic, a bigger issue, like some people, okay, I'm going to this horrible job that I hate. I'm doing it for my family. It's a similar thing. You're willing to walk through fire to make your family happy. It's one of those things. Well, now instead of worrying about your family, instead of worrying about this job that you hate, what if you did a job that you kind of didn't hate, but you did it for Jesus? Or even if you did hate the job, you're like, okay, I hate this job. I don't want to go to it every day, but I love Jesus, and because think about it. Everybody would have jobs. Now think about this. Let's say, you donated your time twice a week to the local store, and you put up groceries and you bagged groceries for that day. For one day, you work one day a month. Everybody would have jobs. Everybody who wanted to go to the store that day, the shelves would be full, and somebody would bag your groceries, and probably somebody would help you take it out to the car. Okay, now think about that. Everyone would have jobs. There would be something for everyone, because you're not getting paid. Because the payment is Christ. And the payment is helping your fellow man. Now think about that. I don't know. Is that? I'm trying to find downside to that, because again, our mindset would have to be different. Our viewpoint would have to be different. Because right now, it's like, I don't give a fuck about you. You don't give a fuck about me. So you're obviously not gonna do that. You want to make as much money as you can and be able to do what you want with that. But I'm saying, if you did it that way, you could have basically everything you want, and it doesn't matter. Now, you'd have to have some limits. It would have to be you couldn't just say, I need a TV in every single solitary room. Yeah, you might be able to get a TV in every single solitary room, an 80-inch TV in every single room, but you couldn't just take 15 of them at one time. Maybe every month you. And then, see, the problem with that, it would come into, well, I've got more than you, you got less than me, blah, blah, blah. Then we get into that kind of stuff. But again, I don't think if we were doing it for Jesus, then things like TV and stuff like that wouldn't matter. It really wouldn't. That wouldn't be our focus. So, again, our entire mindset would change, so we wouldn't even be like, oh, I gotta go get an 80-inch TV so I can watch the football game. Well, there wouldn't be a football game because you wouldn't give a damn. And it wouldn't matter who won. It's like, oh my God, this team won and that team lost. It wouldn't be any of that. Because the teams would be doing it for Jesus. And you'd be watching it like, okay, I like this team, but hey, you know what? They did it for Jesus, so yay, that's good too. I can't stand the Patriots. Fuck the Patriots. Fuck Tom Brady. He's a jackass. But if he was doing it for Jesus, I'd be like, hey, he did it for Jesus. All right. Not my team of choice, but hey, all right. Imagine if we lived in that kind of a world. I guarantee you we'd be healthier. We'd live longer. We'd feel better about ourselves. There would be more positivity. We're talking about an entire 180 from our existence right now. But yeah, again, I don't know. We would have to set up certain limits. If you go to the grocery store, you can't spend more than, $150 or $200 or whatever. Because yeah, you can go in there and just say, I'm going to buy everything. I'm going to take it all home. I'm doing it for Jesus. No, you can't do that. You just can't do that. So there'd have to be a limit, you know. There'd have to be two limits. It's like you would have to work X number of days a month or X number of days, whatever, or even X number of days a year, because basically everybody would be doing something. And there'd have to be a limit to how much you could take at one time. You can have it all at a longer period, like over a year. You could have 52 TVs, but you can't have 52 TVs on day one. So I mean, it would have to be a limit, and then a set. Okay, you're gonna have to do this, or this, or whatever. I don't know. I mean, again, I'm just being silly here, but. Well, I mean, imagine if, okay, like one of your kids are sick and they were supposed to bag groceries. Well, okay, and one of the other kids says, "Oh, I'll take your shift. I did a shift yesterday, but I'll do another one for you today. I'm doing that for Jesus. I'm doing it for you, and I'm doing it for Jesus." I mean, can you imagine if we just helped each other and gave a fuck about each other for more than 2.2 seconds? Instead of, like, what we can get out of each other, you know? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, what kind of world would that be? What kind of world would that be? Now, I mean, I'm sure there's, like, a lot of things I'm not considering and stuff like that, but just from a base value, I mean, I think we'd just be better human beings. Just accidentally, if we had a system like that, you know. But again, that's almost liberal in a way. That's almost a liberal viewpoint, where people just get what they need. They need health care. Guess what? There's a doctor on call. You know? Now, yeah, it would be a little crazy at first because everybody'd have to rush in there to see the doctor. But, you make an appointment and you get to see the doctor for 15 minutes a day instead of 5 minutes in and out and on to the next patient because they're trying to make money. Now, imagine if everybody's doing it for Jesus. Well, I'm going to see the doctor so I can, of course, you'd have, Jesus would be the, but, well, whatever. I don't know, but it would be easier on the doctor. Instead of having to sit there 8 hours a day, he could work 6 hours a day, Work Monday through, well, you'd have to do the whole Sabbath thing, so Sunday through Friday, working maybe 4 hours a day. Big deal. Big deal, as opposed to like 8 hours a day. Surgeons who do brain surgery just for the hell of it. We're doing it for Jesus kind of a deal. Now, yeah, you'd have to schedule the appointment, obviously, but aside from that, I don't know. Instead of worrying about, who's got insurance and who's got health care and I'm buying extra insurance that I don't need and I'm buying stuff I don't need and, Obamacare this and Trump care that. Fuck all that. Imagine if just one human being gave a damn about another human being. What kind of world we'd live in, And again, doing it for Jesus. I don't know. I don't see the downside to it. Because even if there were downsides, the downsides would be based upon our understanding of it now. Like, I don't feel like going into work today, so I'm just not going to do it. Well, okay. I mean, again, I don't know. Whatever. I don't want to talk about that anymore because that's kind of, pie in the sky bullshit. It's never going to happen. Or at least not here and now. But again, I'm trying to picture like 1,000-year reign. What is the 1,000-year reign going to be like? You're going to have a bunch of doctors sitting in the golf course talking about, I made $20 million today. Did 15 brain surgeries. No. They're not. They're not going to do that. So again, it would be a completely different way of thinking. Our entire way of thinking would be different. It has to be different. It would absolutely have to be different. So, until that day happens, And again, I'll let you in a little secret. When Jesus comes back, he's not coming back to hand out guns. Okay, all these people are like, oh, Jesus and the guns, God and guns. No, God is not going to give you a fucking gun. I guarantee you. In fact, you're worrying about Obama taking your guns? Jesus is going to take your guns. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. You live by the gun, you die by the gun. Okay, so if anybody's going to be taking your guns, it's going to be Jesus. Now, you already got a bunch of yeehaws already up in arms over what I just said. You know? They didn't better take my gun from my cold dead hand. You know, that bullshit. Because somewhere along the line, we have this idea that, especially in America, I mean, think about what America's motto is. Well, e pluribus uno. But other than that, I mean, the actual concept of America, of rugged individualism and bullshit like that. And I can pull myself up by my bootstraps, Sarah Palin bullshit. Do you understand how wicked and evil that actually is? Because the last time I checked, when you go to church, you were taught that you cannot do it on your own. That your physical strength will eventually run out and you need to look to God. You need to look to Jesus. Now, Donald Trump, who has no interest in God in that sense, he may have an interest in God because he likes all these people coming in, laying hands on him, and treating him all nice, and and basically stroking his ego and all that bullshit. And there's no reason he likes that stuff. You know, it's a fact. He doesn't have time of day for God in that regard. You know, which I'm not saying Obama did either. You know, or Hillary or any of them. I'm not saying any of them really have God-centric viewpoints that deeply. Yeah, they might be quote-unquote Christian, but again, you know, they're about as Christian as they didn't sacrifice goats on the front lawn, okay? They didn't have pentagrams under their pillows, okay? That's about as Christian. It's more of a watered-down base version. Oh, I'm a Christian, as opposed to I don't eat people. I'm not a cannibal or some fucking thing, you know? As far as like a born-again Christian who actually loves Jesus, no. Okay, no. They may acknowledge Jesus, but he is the end-all be-all of their existence. That's fine, whatever. You do what you got to do. But to sit there and act like Trump is like that, you're out of your freaking mind. You're out of your damn mind. If you think Trump is this ultra-Christian who, okay, he does bad stuff, but he still loves Jesus and he's of God and blah, blah, blah bullshit. I'm sorry, the man's ego will not allow him to admit such things. He can't admit that he's wrong. Somebody said, I mean, seriously, they're talking about he's slurring his words, and people are like, oh, you got mental deficiency. Oh, no, I'm great. I'm the smartest person you ever known, blah, blah, blah. He's got to purposely come out and make a stink about it and be like, oh, I'm the greatest thing ever, and I'm this, that, and the other, and don't worry, and, you know, trust me, and bullshit. You know, so it's like when you think about that, and you think about what America is, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, rugged individualism, that you can do it on your own. That is satanic, dude. That is straight up satanic. We cannot do it on our own. We can't. Can you raise yourself from the dead? No, you can't do it on your own. So, this country is wicked. And we want to make this wicked country great again. What does that mean? What does that mean? And you look at the history of this country, of wickedness, of what we did to the Indians and the Trail of Tears and the raping and just destroying their land and taking their land and pushing them off of their land. And then we built this country on the backs of slaves and bullshit and the way we treat women and the way we treat these people and that people and everybody else. And you're going to sit there and tell me that we're a great Christian nation? Are you out of your fucking mind? Now, I'm sorry, but when God, and I use the word jettisoned because it's a great word. When God jettisoned Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden, he didn't do so that they could revel in their own stink and be like, oh, I planted 15 crops today. I'm better than you, Eve. What have you done today, you bitch? No. We're not to revel in our own stink. We're not to revel in our own sweat. That is a direct outcome based upon actions. Okay? That's not something we're supposed to be proud of. I did it on my own. Da, da, da. That's not what we are about. We are supposed to acknowledge God in all things, not acknowledge the fact, oh, I did it. I pulled myself up by my bootstraps and I became rich. No. No. You didn't. You didn't do it. God did it. God allowed it. Now, why God won't allow me to be rich is beyond me, but that's whatever. And I'm not even asking for a lot either, you know. I mean, come on. Freaking bullshit. Seriously, do you realize $1,000 a month I could not be on anything? I could literally be self-sustaining for $1,000 a month. You know? Whatever. It's depressing. I mean, it is. It's depressing. And you got all these people, they preach one thing, and then they turn around and politically they preach another. If I can't grasp it, how the hell is the world supposed to grasp it? And I've said this, and I will continuously say this. The one Bible verse that really pisses me off, because I have a hard time believing it, is when Jesus said, the world will hate you because it first hated me. Well, guess what? The world doesn't hate Jesus. Muslims don't hate Jesus. Jews hate Jesus, but that's because they're idiots. But, be that as it may, the world doesn't hate Jesus. The world hates Christians because Christians are a bunch of assholes. Because Christians want to bash people over the head with the Bible. Because we have this idea that, well, the Bible says you're gay, so therefore, you know, I'm going to hit you over the head with my Bible until you change. We are not the ones who do the changing. It's the Holy Spirit. And again, I use the woman at the well as the prime example. Now think about how Jesus treated the woman at the well. Now, picture our current president, what he would have said to the woman at the well. I mean, that's all I'll say on that. I don't even want to get political on that. Imagine what Donald Trump would have said to the woman at the well. Now, would the woman at the well have gotten, you know, quote unquote, saved, or would she have gotten right with Jesus at that moment based upon what he would have said? Or what a lot of these other Christians today, people from our church would have said to her and called her out and bashed her over the head with the Bible, and you did this and you did that, and the Bible says this and the Bible says that. Would she have had a different experience with that versus how Christ treated her? I would absolutely say yes. And I'm no better. I do and say stupid shit all the time. And I get, especially on social media, I get very pissed off and stuff. And I say horrible things, and I shouldn't. Okay, so I'm in no position to, you know, be high and lofty over other people, because I do the same thing. But we're all collectively guilty of it. I mean, seriously, imagine how Jesus treated her versus how other people treated her. Now, again, if we're Christians and we're going to bash a bunch of homosexuals over the head and be like, oh, it's not good for a man to lay with another man, it's blasphemous, it's sodomy, and Sodom and Gomorrah, and destroy the city, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But how would Jesus have treated it? Jesus was a friend of sinners, like the song says. He's a friend of sinners. He broke bread with sinners. He broke bread with the 12 disciples. The 12 disciples were probably the biggest sinners out there. You know, a tax collector. He even broke bread with Judas, who betrayed him. A betrayer. I mean, think about the people that he broke bread with. And what did he do? He washed their feet. You think Donald Trump would have washed the woman at the well's feet? You think Christians today would wash the feet of a homosexual? No. You got doctors who are like, I'm not going to look at you because you're gay. Dude, I want nothing to do with this Christianity. I want nothing to do with it. And I am not like the this big authority on Christian belief and Christian values and stuff like that. But when I see that kind of stuff, that pisses me off. Now, yeah, I don't like homosexuality as far as like a collective concept. I'm not into it. I don't like it. It does nothing for me. Okay? I don't like the idea. I don't like anything of it. But I'm not going to sit there and treat somebody like complete garbage because they do it. Because I would be a hypocrite too. I'm supposed to reflect Christ's love to them. And even though I don't like what they do, I can't sit there and say, well, you know, Christ would not have done that. Christ would not go up to a homosexual and say, you're a fag, you're a sodomite, and you're going to hell. He would not have said that. He wouldn't have. And all these people are just full of shit. And they're so worried about their fucking abortions and stuff. Which is fine. And listen, I'm against abortion. I don't like abortion. I just don't like it. I don't like it conceptually. It's not my thing. I don't like it. I understand, life of the mother, blah, blah, blah. I don't like it collectively. I just don't. I wish it didn't need to be. I'll just put it that way. I wish it didn't have to be a thing. I wish it wasn't... Not necessarily I don't wish it was an option, but I don't wish it was an option that had to be considered. Let's put it that way. Of course, if a lot of people did what they are supposed to do, like, I don't know, don't rape your fucking niece, don't rape other people, don't have sex out of wedlock, that might cut down on a lot of that stuff. If people did what they were supposed to do, instead of what they want to do, which is like, I'm going to rape somebody, or I'm going to have sex out of wedlock, or I'm just going to be a stupid bitch, or, oh, gee, my condom broke. Okay. If people were living right with Jesus, abortion wouldn't even be needed, necessarily. So, and again, I'm not one to talk because, I'm probably going to die of a fucking heart attack. If I ate right, things might be a little different too. So, I'm just as guilty. What's that? See, that's the beauty of it all. No matter how right you think you are bashing somebody over the head with the Bible, there's a certain topic that you yourself are wrong in. Okay? Like, I can't tell a homosexual that they're wrong and evil while I'm off looking at porn. Okay? Or whatever. Now, yeah, are they wrong? Yeah, sure. Am I wrong for looking at porn? Yeah, sure. We're all guilty of something. So to sit there and act like my shit don't stink but yours does, that's where the problems comes in. We got way too many people acting like they're the end-all be-all of authority. The Bible gives me the authority to tell you you're a piece of shit. Well, you know what? The Bible gives me the authority to tell you you're a fucking idiot, too. So guess what? Even at our best, we're still far from God. So guess what? Get right and worry about yourself. It's like you render unto Caesar that which is Caesar. Stop worrying about stupid shit that you can't control. Worry about yourself. Make sure that your, whatever you want to call it, your walk, your relationship with God, the vertical, is on par. And make sure you are doing what you're supposed to do. And then everything else will fall into place. It may not seem like it at first, but guess what? If your government spends money on abortion and you don't like that, well, guess what? That's not for you to worry about. That's between those in government and God. And God will deal with them. The minute you want to get involved, that's when God will deal with you. And, it's like the story in Mark when I was talking about the boat. Basically, we have to just endure. We have to continuously endure. Now, the problem that I have with that story is that Jesus hasn't come into my boat. It's like every time Something happens, I try to endure, but it gets to the point where it's just like I either physically give up, mentally give up, or something happens. I'm not going to sit there and wrestle with the angel for 4 days. I physically can't do that. So it's like, if God knows my limit, why does he push me to the limit and then get upset when I give up? I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me. Because it's like, for me, I need that moment when Jesus steps onto the boat and the winds die down. But it's like, I never get to that point anymore. I just don't ever get to that point. So, now again, I understand, ye generation of vipers, there are no signs for you. I get that kind of an idea. And I'm not looking for signs, necessarily. Signs and miracles and wonders in the sky. I'm not looking for that kind of stuff. But there comes a point when, if a trial comes, there has to be a victory at the end at some point. To me, it's like all these trials come and they just kind of just go, because I give up. It's just, you get beat down so much that, trying to endure something over and over and over and over and over, and there's no outcome, there's no benefit to it. It's just, you mentally break down, and it's like, I've gotten to that point where it's like, I can't deal with it anymore. Send me all the fucking problems you want. I can't deal with it. I'm gonna fail, because for me, and I'm just talking for myself, it's like, we all have to get to that point where we struggle so much that we just physically are exhausted, and we have to look to God and get strength from Him. That's what we have to do. The problem with me is I'm looking at the problem like, I just give up before I even start. I'm like, okay, I can't do this. And I think that's where the problem is, where it's like, you're supposed to kind of go knee deep into the shit. And now it's like, I don't even want to do that. So, I don't know. See, because for me, it's like, I get the stories. I get the concept. Like, the woman who touched his hem and the issue of blood. The problem is, he was physically there. She could physically touch him. She looked and said, I have this issue, and I know he can heal me if I just touch his hem. I have that kind of faith. The problem is, Jesus is not here for me to touch his hem. I'm in the boat, and the wind's coming at me, and I'm going into the wind. Jesus hasn't stepped into my boat to calm the winds. So how are you supposed to move forward when Jesus isn't here? And don't say, he's here in spirit. If he's here in spirit, then guess what? It's intangible. It means nothing. If God is here in this way that means nothing collectively, maybe overall it means something, like his very being is interwoven into the very particles of the universe and holds everything together. He is the ether that holds us all together. Okay, fine, then we need God. But as far as like a day-to-day basis, God is not here. I'm sorry, he is not here. How am I supposed to exercise the faith where I believe, okay, he is there, and if I touch him, he will heal me? How am I supposed to exercise that when he is not here to be seen? Well, it's by faith and not by sight. Okay, well, I have faith that if I touch his garment, I'm going to get healed. But the fact is, the garment isn't here, so I don't get healed. So what's the point? Again, I could have faith that I look like Tom Cruise, but every attractive woman who looks at me and scoffs tells a different story. It's like the old saying, I can wish one hand and crap in the other. I do know which one gets filled first. So again, this is a problem. This is issues that I have, intermingled with all this other Christian bullshit where it's like, oh, we believe in Jesus, but we're going to make excuses for Trump. So it leaves me in a really bad place where it's like, I don't want to disdain from God, but the whole thing is just giving me the shits collective. religion and God and Jesus, not Jesus per se, but like God. See, it's my own shit that I have to work out, and I'm just giving it here. I don't have issue with the Holy Spirit. I don't have issue with Jesus. My issue with God the Father. It always has been that way. It's like God the Father is supposed to be on the throne. Everything's supposed to be the stability and wonder and blah blah blah. Well, okay, that's fine. But why is he not helping me? Why is he not doing for me? And I don't mean like a Santa Claus or like a genie in a bottle, but it's like, where are you? You know, where the fuck are you? Oh, I'm here with you. Where? You know? Because, again, and I'm sorry this is going to sound selfish, but if you're not here in a way that I can understand, in a way that I can, I don't want to say manipulate, but in a way that could work for me in a sense of, okay, that makes sense, I get that, then what's the point? What's the point? What is the point? You know? You're going to bless Donald Trump, who's a complete piece of shit, yet I'm a complete piece of shit. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, God blesses me in different ways. The fact that I haven't had to do a damn thing in my entire life. You know, there are kids in Ethiopia who are dying of hunger. Okay, so again, I don't mean it like that. Maybe I'm supposed to just look at it that way. I don't know. I mean, again, we always want more. So maybe I'm being selfish and I just want more. Maybe God has blessed me beyond anything I could ask or think. Well, that's the problem. God hasn't blessed me beyond anything I could ask or think. I need a computer. I need a decent computer. And hell, I won't even go for an Apple $1,000 one. I'll even take like a $400 Dell or some fucking thing that's actually halfway decent at this point. I will take anything. I don't have $300. You know, I don't have $300. So where's God in that? Where's God in that? I need basically something I could edit with. I could do some movies and stuff. Where's God in that? I don't know. He certainly isn't blessing me, yet he's blessing Donald Trump. And Donald Trump's a piece of shit going to start World War III. Probably the Antichrist. He's blessing his ass. You know? You're telling me for the last few minutes of my life, let's be honest, I'm 41 years old, 400 fucking plus pounds. My days on this earth are numbered. Okay, you could probably count them in minutes now. That's not even, dude. There have been fat guys who were less fat than me who didn't even make it into their 40s. Like that one guy from, was it Giant Bomb or whatever? I think he died at 36. Are you fucking kidding me? Just heart gave out. And I'm pushing 41. I'll be 41 next month. In March. 40 goddamn one. Do you understand that? Yeah, you do, because you're 41 too, but you know what I mean. How the fuck am I supposed to deal with that? Like, I literally had another panic attack the other night. Like, to the point where I couldn't breathe, and I'm hyperventilating. You know. I got thinking about the fact that I have not seen my grandfather in over 25 years. He's been dead. And the fact that I'm literally here by myself. I've got like 2 cousins and a derelict father. There's a few cousins on Dale T's side, but, you know, they're borderline worthless as far as like, you know, they would help if I needed it, but, you know, they're not really there, you know what I mean? So, and I got thinking about the fact that I haven't seen my mother in like, what's it been, 2005? So what, 13 fucking years? She died, 13 years this month. It's been 13 years. Even now thinking about it, it's like just, it literally feels like somewhere between my sternum and my stomach, like just something just dropped, like, you know, like I'm Elastic Man, and somebody just grabbed me by the sternum and by the gut and just like stretched my shit out. That's what it felt like when I said that. I mean, shit, dude, Graham's been dead how long? 2013, so she's been dead 5 years. She'll be dead 5 years September. Jean's dead 2 years next month. I mean, think about that shit. And it's just, I don't know, man. I can't deal with it. I don't know. It freaks me out. And like, where's God and all that? Like, I'm not supposed to fear, but why? See, that's the problem. Like, oh, don't you're not supposed to fear, and God is always with you, and you die and you go to heaven. Okay, fine. Yeah, if I just rolled over in my sleep and passed out, fine, fine. But you know what? I talked about this a long time ago. The very fact that most of us aren't going to just roll over in our sleep and pass out, and that most of us are going to die a horrific, panic-stricken, wicked, awful fucking death. The moments between my physical life ending and whatever's out there beginning, that tragic, horrible, panic-stricken, like, moment right before you give up your last breath, and then, oh, there's Jesus, yay! No, there's a little bit of a transition between the two, and I don't know, man. I mean, I'm almost getting to the point I almost want to, assisted suicide. Like, if I got cancer, like, I knew I was going to die, I would want them to just put me down. I really would. Because it's like, once you cross that threshold, there's no going back. And to me, that's scary. That is a very scary thing. I don't necessarily fear death per se, but I fear that transition, that, going from the caterpillar to the butterfly stage. I fear that. I do. I legitimately fear that. And for selfish reasons. Because, again, the problem is, do we even exist? Do we even exist? Because if you think about what consciousness is, and the fact that life experiences is manipulated our consciousness into being who we are. Like, for example, I like video games. Now, if you took away all the sin in the world and all the bullshit and everything that made me what I am today, would I still like that? Probably not. So, something that is like a key component to my existence, if one or two things had been different, I might not be doing what I'm doing right now. I mean, do you understand that? If you were born with two dicks, you'd be out fucking everybody. You wouldn't be, doing what you're doing. I don't know. It's a weird thing when you think about it. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand, it's not nurture versus nature, okay? Because you could have two brothers in the same household. One becomes an artist and the other one goes to prison. Every chance they can. Yeah? Okay, whatever. Yeah. Whatever. So I understand that. And I'm not talking about that. Because we do have a slight choice in what we make of the determination of what we have. So in other words, see, again, it's weird. It's like, if somebody cloned me, the fact that I would be looking at myself on the right side versus the other version of me looking at myself from the left side, right there, our entire existence is paralleled in two different directions. We may have had the same exact thoughts up to that moment, but the minute we're standing in front of each other, looking at each other one way or the other, everything diverges into a different direction. So, you could have, like I said, you could have two brothers, but let's say one brother's a little bit older. Let's say the mother, coddled them a little bit more because it was her first child, where the second child had a little bit more freedom. So the second child, went and kind of did other stuff and had a different perspective of life than the first child. That in and of itself can change the way you view things. So yeah, you could have two brothers in the same household. And let's be honest, most people most people who have multiple kids, you probably could attest to this. Your first kid, you're like, oh my god, I got to read all the books and Dr. Spock and by the time you get to the third or fourth kid, it's like, fuck him, yeah, fuck him, let him play in the mud, fuck that kid. Yeah, it's like you completely coddle the one, and I don't mean like disown the other, but you get to the point where like, they're playing, they're playing playing with paper clips near the light socket. Yeah, they'll figure it out. And that is a thing. That's a legitimate thing. Just because you live in the same household, now you got two different people with two different experiences because of that. One's a little more outgoing and the other's a little bit more reserved because mommy and daddy are constantly looking at them saying, why are you doing this? Blah, 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 blah. So again, nurture versus nature. I don't even know if that's a real thing because, again, you can't treat the kid the same way. You can't. Even if you had two kids, you look at one on the right, you look at one at the left. The fact that your mother has done that, you both now have two different experiences. Well, she looked at him first, and then she must love him first, or maybe she loves me more, but then looked at him as the second one because she wanted to give him love first because he's a piece of shit and I'm great. I mean, there's so many different ways you could evaluate such a thing. So, I mean, I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what to do with all that information. I know my nose is stuffed up. Oh. Yeah, laying here, my nose gets stuffed up all the fucking time. Why do I have to have that experience, Whatever. Like, for example, if I was attractive and I would be out fucking, I wouldn't be making this clip. Now, what good is this clip? I don't know. Much rather be out fucking hot women. I'll tell you that right now. Much rather have a hot girlfriend fucking than doing this stupid clip at 2:30 in the morning. Yeah. Low battery. This freaking tablet, dude. The fucking battery on this thing is a piece of shit. Fuck you, Apple. Cheap sons of bitches. I just buy another one. Yeah, $600. You can kiss my dick. Fucking sue your ass is what I ought to do. Sons of bitches. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, but yeah, like I was saying, do we even exist? Seriously, do we exist? Because if you look at what the Bible says, excuse me, it actually feels like God wanted to basically procreate in a way. He wanted to produce, he wanted to expand, almost like a parasite. So he created us and gave us consciousness, which is a directive from him. So the conscious entity is him going through these different... I mean, you almost think of it like those... what are those connect blocks or where you build the little things and the little wheels and the spins and the things and you got the little thing and the thing goes down and what are those things called? Those connect blocks or whatever the fuck they're called. Like that opening sequence in Goonies when they're opening up the gate and they push the bowling ball down, it lands in the bucket, the rope pulls the bucket, or the bucket pulls the rope and the rope does this thing and it blows up this balloon, and the balloon pops, and it scares the chicken drops the egg drops down in the thing, and blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, the door opens up. That's kind of what the issues of life do to our consciousness. Where, like, consciousness is like a river, and we're flowing down the set path, assuming... Well, actually, it would be a set path, because if there is any moment we are outside of time, then time has already happened. It's happening simultaneously, but it's already happened. If that makes any sense at all, which it doesn't. Let me try to reword that. Basically, every aspect of time is continuously happening at the same time. Now, for us, we have to live day by day, but if you're outside of that, you could see dinosaurs, you could see, the alien takeover in, 3 millennia. You could see the whole thing. You could see the big picture. Where, again, we're living through it day by day. So, when you look at time like that, the consciousness that is God, the collective, is going through the different events that lead us into who we are. Now, what happens when you take all that away? When you take all that sin away? When you take the sin? We are who we are because of sin. Now, you take that away, what is left? Nothing. There's nothing. Because your consciousness, who you are who you are because of sin. I choose to play video games because, yeah, you know what? It probably is a sin on some collective level. But it's what I like to do. Watching movies is probably a sin. But it's what I like to do. Watching football is a sin on every level. Everything you do is a sin because it isn't Jesus focused. You're not on your knees praying to Jesus, so it's a sin. Okay? So if I'm not doing these things, is there any room for downtime? Like, how do you go to heaven and not praise Jesus 24/7? Like, well, I want to go and look at the universe today, God. I don't want to praise you today. That's an option? Really? So, again, what happens to us once we die? What happens to us when you take away all that stuff? And you take away the very thing that we care about? Like, for example, you're not gonna love your wife the same way. You're not gonna love your kids because your kids aren't going to be your kids. They're going to be there, but they're not going to be your kids. They're going to just be what they are. They're going to be them. You know, it's not like there's any attachment to those things. Like a husband and a wife are not going to be a husband and wife necessarily. Not that that can't happen, but I'm talking if you broke it all down and boiled it all down to what's important, your wife is not your wife. Your kids are not your kids. They are what they are. Yeah, you'll spend eternity with them, but is it going to be in the same way? Are you going to Disneyland with your kids in the millennium? No, you're not. You're just not. No, your kids are going to be doing their own thing. Like, oh man, I wish I could see the kids again. That's not even going to be on the radar. It's not. Your kids are going to be part of the collective. Your kids are going to be part of, what's there. Like my mother's not going to be my mother. I mean, she will be, but not in the same sense. Because we're going to just be one big conscious... It's almost like if you take a pitcher of water and you dump it into a glass, and then you take that glass and you dump it back in the pitcher, can you take the same molecule of water and put it back in the cup? No. You can't. We're all going to go back into the collective. So if there's no sin in, my set of sins that made me who I am, if that no longer exists, then what is left? What is left? I mean, honestly, if right now, my sole focus is not to praise Jesus. I'm sorry, I'm a bastard. But if I'm going to be doing that 24/7 in heaven, well, guess what? That isn't me. Okay? And I don't mean that in a bad way. I know that sounds horrible. You don't want to praise Jesus. No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a good chance that when we die, there really is going to be nothing left. Any consciousness that we have, yeah, that energy will continue. Now, the only way it could possibly work is if it's like a game save. And actually, in a way, I guess it could be. Where, for example, if I play a game on my PS4 and my PS4 breaks, I get a new one and I can download the game again. But the save is not going to be there. Now they do have cloud storage where the Switch doesn't, which pisses me off, but so all my saves will go into the cloud so that when I get a new system, I can download those saves into my new system. So it's like I never left. So if we can save ourselves, maybe that's what salvation is. Maybe God is saving us, and every time we repent, it's like a checkpoint. I don't know. That could work. I don't know. That could technically work. So every time we save, or every time we repent, I should say, we save. So that when these physical bodies are gone, and we are out in the ether somewhere, whatever that entails, who and what we are survives on some level. Maybe not exactly in the same way. I don't know. Anyways, I don't want to talk about this anymore because actually I don't have any more battery left, so I gotta end this. Well, actually, it's shit, almost 2 hours long. Fuck, I gotta end it anyway. So, anyways, fuck you. Bye bye.